Hey Fear Minimalist, it's Ophelia Lark of thefearminimalist.com, and I help women of color break the fear-based emotional cycle that keeps them stuck in mother wound trauma. So if you constantly feel like you don't deserve good things in life and you are just sick of being crippled by feelings of unworthiness, I'm going to share 3 ways that you can begin healing the unworthiness wound, so be sure you keep watching. If you're joining us for the first time today, thank you so much for being here. And if this content resonates with you, I invite you to subscribe by hitting the subscribe button and turn on your notifications so that you'll be updated each time I upload a new video. So for many Black and brown women with the mother wound, a sense of unworthiness can stem from a much deeper experience, from societal and historical wounds that are often rooted in legacies of oppression. The wound then is much larger than our personal experience, but our personal experience is often what alerts us to something that is much deeper when we start doing the digging. And so it's not just about healing our personal wounds, but it's about healing generations of unworthiness. So how do you begin to heal feelings of unworthiness when the wound is that deep? The first thing you need to do is to create a compassionate voice toward the struggles and the triumphs of your ancestors, and then to allow that compassionate voice to extend to yourself. So whether your ancestors, their lands were stolen, or whether your ancestors were stolen from their land, they endured unspeakable tragedies. And yet, they still managed to give us beautiful gifts. Gifts of stories and songs and music and art, rich traditions, cultural language and cultural knowledge. All that despite their horrific circumstances. And so extending compassion toward their sacrifice allows you to stand in their stead, to speak up for them, you finish the work by becoming a voice for them, by speaking what they couldn't say. And that compassion expressed toward them being able to endure what they did and still have the capacity to be able to save and pass along these beautiful gifts to you allows you to start seeing that they would want that same compassion that you're giving them to be extended to yourself. And so you begin healing your own personal wound by essentially doing the work to heal generations of unworthiness. The second way to begin healing the unworthiness wound is to accept your emotions. Make space to feel. What you're feeling is real. Even if your feelings are linked to some event in the past. They're real because you are having the experience of these feelings in the moment. So don't discount your emotions. Don't say, oh, well, I just need to get over it because that's in the past. Your emotions are there for a reason. They're there to be worked through. They're there to be validated. The inner child wants to be validated. And so when you're having strong emotions, that is a cue that your inner child wants to be attended to. And so you can start speaking to the inner child and saying, I hear you. You're hurting and it's okay. Or you're scared and it's okay. You can do this. I'm here for you. I'm going to help you. I'll hold your hand the entire way. You don't ever have to worry about being alone or being scared. Whatever the feeling is, just allow those emotions to be there. Watch them, accept them, and allow them to come and go. You can even take deep breaths as you feel it and just blow out all the excess. And that starts to free you to experience your emotions, or to express your emotions rather, in newer and healthier ways. All right, and the final thing that we'll talk about today in terms of healing the unworthiness wound is to engage in culturally responsive treatment. So culturally responsive treatment, therapy, coaching, whatever it is the consideration of how your culture impacts the way that you see the world, other people, and yourself. And not just consideration, but also integrating cultural elements into treatment that are going to help you move forward. So many of us as culturally marginalized women come from family and community-oriented backgrounds where stories and visual images and music and art and metaphor are used to create this positive expectancy toward things that are going to help us heal. So, in African American rich history of storytelling, there is testimony about, what is happening in our lives and things that challenge us. But testimony is also used to encourage us toward healing and hope. In some Native American traditions, particularly in the Cherokee tribes, there is this metaphor of the trickster coyote. And the trickster coyote metaphor can be used to help people understand how cognitive distortions can trip us up. How if we have one coyote thought, that may not be much to worry about. But a pack of coyote thoughts can take us down. The Maori New Zealanders, they use the concept of ware, which is W-H-A-R-E, which translates into house. House being, you have your foundation as your early childhood experiences. You have your core beliefs as a first floor. The second floor are your assumptions and your rules to live by, and your coping strategies is the roof. And there could be many other things where, in a lot of Latino cultures, there is this concept of shared moments. So using language that, we're talking about changing the self, pick yourself up by your bootstraps, essentially. That may be a turnoff for them, as they're more about interdependence, sharing with one another. Culturally competent treatment is going to take into account those kinds of things by asking the cultural questions. Where did you grow up? Where did your grandparents, where did your parents, where did they grow up? What kind of things did you celebrate in your culture? What kind of events? Do you eat any cultural foods? If so, what are they? How has culture impacted the way you interact with other people, the music you listen to, the way that you dress? Those are just simple questions. And when the treatment integrates those things into, say, cognitive behavioral therapy or mindfulness or whatever humanistic approaches, then the client feels seen, heard, prioritized. And this leads to greater engagement in treatment. Therefore, it increases the chance that you're going to work through these deep feelings of unworthiness. So now you have some new ways that can help you begin addressing the unworthiness wound as a woman of color. And be sure you check out the resources below to gain access to tools that can help you enhance your healing journey. I want to invite you also to connect with me on social media. I'm at Instagram at Fear Minimalist, Twitter at Fear Minimalist, and Facebook at Fear Minimalist. Hopefully we can have a more in-depth conversation about healing complex trauma and the mother wound. Well, that's it. That'll do it for today. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here. I always appreciate it. And if you like this video, hit the like button below, share with your friends, comment below to let me know what you took away from this video, and be sure to subscribe, hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. And last but not least, remember that the sun is going to rise and shine bright tomorrow. The question is, are you going to rise with it and allow your best self to shine? I hope you do, and I'll see you next time. Have a good day.